Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host Faisal Raza and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, in a dramatic turn of events, Pakistan's valiant armed forces during whole movements of Marka-e-Haq from May 6th to 10th, 2025 and especially during May 10th, 2025, Operation Bunyan Marsoos showcased its prowess in the face of blatant Indian aggression, the covert attack on civilians of Pakistan, women, children, elderly, and the religious sites, particularly mosques. Pakistan's armed forces defended the country valiantly, made a history, first of all by shooting 5 of the Indian fighter jets, including 3 of the Rafales. Then Heron unmanned aerial vehicle, also 84 Harab killer drones fired by the adversary, 11 of the Indian airstrips or the air bases, 2 of the S-400 air defense systems, BrahMos storage facilities, and several Indian military facilities across the Indian western border and at our eastern border. And this, in the same operation, Bunyan Marsoos compelled India to plead for ceasefire, go to the western powers, particularly the United States, and in respect of the international community's compelling requests, Pakistan implemented it. Pakistan is observing this ceasefire with letter and spirit, because Pakistan is a peace-loving country, don't want any sort of escalation or war in the region, because Pakistan time and again working for stability, progress and prosperity of the whole region. And that's why Pakistan is striving hard, not only with China for the China-Pakistan economic corridor, but also want prosperity in Afghanistan, also wants to settle peacefully the Iran-US nuclear issue. Pakistan wants stability in across the region, particularly in Gaza. That's why Pakistan is supporting the state of Palestine. The reality of the fact is that Pakistan always work for peace, and this is already recognized by the United Nations as well, as Pakistan is the top contributor of the troops in the peacekeeping missions under the UN umbrella. India's ceasefire is still intact, but it is fragile because of the Indian intentions, Indian nefarious designs and hegemonic approach in the region. But resonance of Pakistan's response is still felt across the world. How Pakistan brilliantly fought this limited war with the nation united across from Peshawar to Karachi, from Gawada to Lahore. Everyone was one as a nation, and we fought this war against our adversary for Pakistan, because Pakistan is our motherland and our love, and our armed forces showed it in air power, in cyber and the space domain, in maritime affairs, air defense systems, Pakistan's missiles, ground troops. Everyone contributed with unity, bravery. Let us discuss the real-time situation, what happened actually, and what were the impressions of this tech battle. To talk on this very important subject, we have in our studios Mr. Dr. Ghulam Mujaddid. He is a strategic affairs expert. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence here in the studios. We have Vice Admiral retired Ahmed Saeed. He is the president of National Institute of Maritime Affairs. Thank you very much, sir, for your presence here. And online joining us, Brigadier retired Ghazanfar Ali, Syed Ghazanfar Ali. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us online. My first question to you, Brigadier Sahab, how do you see the extreme bravery and valiant fight of Pakistani troops at the line of control, working boundary against a mad adversary, and overwhelming achievements by the Fateh 1 and 2 missiles, especially Fateh 2, because all the targets hit with accuracy, pinpoint precision at the different military locations of the adversary, great accuracy. So hitting the designating targets with precision, and it changed whole of the game on ground. How do you see that, sir?
Very much, Faisal. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, before talking of the dedication, commitment, and devotion of the armed forces of Pakistan, which includes Pakistan Army, Pakistan Navy, and Pakistan Air Force, I would like to pay my salute to the civilians of Pakistan who were attacked first, and they were the mosques were attacked, and some madrasa was attacked where our civilians, valiant civilians, they embraced Shahadat. But there was no chaos in Pakistan on the militant attack which India carried out in violation of the UN Charter. And India bombing of the civilians is a violation of, according to the Article 48, 49, 50, and 51 of Protocol of Geneva Convention 1977. And attacking civilians has been criminalized by ICC statute in Article 8 as war crimes. And use of drones directed against civilian target is a grave violation of international human law. So the Indians violated all the international law when they attacked our civilians and the civilian target. So those people who burnt the brain, may God bless their soul. But Pakistan stood up to the task, which includes everybody, right from the senior age to the junior most kid, because we suffered casualty in case of 7-year-old girl, 4-year-old boy, 3 and look at the hypocrisy, lies, and fascism and the fascist attitude of Narendra Modi, who is the worse than Hitler and Modi. He is a downgraded person. He directed his armed forces to hit civilians. The brave armed forces, the brave people, they never hit civilians. If they have to face, they fight with the man who's carrying a stick. That is the account of that is the account of boldness. It means right from the start, Indian forces are the sissy forces. They are coward people who attack during the night hours. Now we retaliated. We said that we'll hit you back, and we had said it in 2019 also. And at that time, we had also said that we'll hit you back. You see, remember always, Faisal, deception and secrecy are two basic principles of war, that you adopt to secrecy and you carry out deception whenever you have to hit your enemy according to your strategy. But Pakistan violated those. Pakistan openly said, we'll hit you back at the time of our choosing, target of our choosing. We calculated 26, not civilian, 26 army target. We undertook those through our armed forces, through army, through air force, and our navy was keeping a vigil in the sea. And there was a very good inter-arm coordination, and there was a very good inter-services coordination. We were all the services were gelled in each other. And probably I was studied 1965 war also. I was studied 1971 war also as a student of the military history. And I haven't seen this sort of the niche coordination, ace coordination between the services. And it was only possible because our concept was clear, because our strategy was straight, and our strategy was...
That, Brigadier Sir, no doubt about that. But how do you see, because first time ever we have used this Fateh 2 or Fateh 1 rocket system or the missile system for the defense of Pakistan, number one. And second is that right from April 22, when the false flag operation in Pahalgam happened, soon after that India started unprovoked firing at the line of control and the working boundary, and Pakistani forces were retaliating fiercely, really, because we have the proofs of that how precision attacks Pakistan done, retaliatory attacks at the Indian Border Security Force and even the Indian Army, and destroyed the brigade headquarters, the intelligence setups, and subsequently unimaginable destruction on the other side, but the military targets only, not the civilian, because this is never ever the priority of our military domain or the armed forces. So how do you see the retaliation from Pakistan, because Pakistan was only retaliated whenever India initiated any sort of unprovoked attack from the LOC or the working boundary?
That's what I'm saying. I said that we acted as a brave army. We acted as a bold army. We acted as a state army, a state armed force, I'll say. And the passing remarks, I'll say that I'm grateful to Narendra Modi. The Pakistan Armed Forces should be grateful to the Narendra Modi and gang of thieves which are staying at the top, of gang of criminals in shape of Narendra Modi, Amit Shah and all those, because they provided us a chance to test our armory right on live, to undertake the live test of our Al Fateh 2, JF-17 Thunder, J-10C, all those, because we had tested those missiles on the ranges. But the live testing of those things can be done on the live targets also. So as you are saying, we carried out the live target, and it would have not been possible. Those missiles would have been lying in the storage if Narendra Modi had not provided us a chance to undertake those testing. So we tested that, and I can tell you I can tell you from the point of authority, because I spoke to a number of people who were involved in firing of Al Fateh 1 or Al Fateh 2. Our 100%, our missiles precision strikes were 100% accurate, because these missiles, when they hit the target, they send a signal back also. And the way they were launched and the process from they ran, all those calculations were done. These are the computerized system which undertake the launching of these missiles through MLRS system, which Pakistan has developed itself. So all those missiles which are indigenously developed, we showcased them and we tested them live on the target. We tested those on 80 Brigade. We tested those on Uri Supply Depot. We fired them on number of target, number of posts which are in Kashmir, in Nizapur sector, in Chakoti sector, in Neelam sector, and we hit them right in the middle. And you could see, if you see the impact of those missiles, you see the post rising up towards the sky. It means the missile has gone into
we
the
have
center.
gone through some of the satellite imageries, and we got that our missile systems were alhamdulillah very accurate, and we tested it in a real fashion, in a real time situation. So Dr. Saab, when we are talking about this, as the Brigadier Sahib was talking about the land forces operations, so it is very much evident that on the very first night, it was the midnight of 6th and 7th, when there was a beyond visual range fight. I say it might be not categorized as the dog fight, but it was like that, without crossing international border, working boundary or the line of control, resulted into the downing of at least 5 Indian fighter jets. That includes 3 latest 4.5th generation Rafales, 1 MiG-29 and 1 Su-30 MKI, and that is also a latest one because of new avionics and all that. And an Israeli-made Heron unmanned aerial vehicle, while PF emerged as a victorious right in the first hour of the hot conflict between Pakistan and India. How do you see this whole scenario? Because PF emerged as a glorious force, and such type of operations are now going to be studied in most of the military domains, because this is a real-time example how Pakistan responded.
Okay, that's very good. And first I would bow my head to Allah's graciousness, that we, the Pakistan Air Force, was able to do what the nation expected out of it.
No doubt about it.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
And again, it is the innate professionalism of Pakistan Air Force that made these things happen.
Definitely.
Okay, Indian Air Force is also a professional Air Force. They have all the regimes, training regimes, the weapon systems, and some of them latest one and all. But once we come to the battle, aerial battle, it is who employs the resources in the best possible manner against the enemy.
This is basically the intelligent thinking.
This is the thinking and the planning and the way we trained as we would fight in future. This is the hallmark of Pakistan Air Force again. And we have a combination of various, domains like electronic warfare, AWACS, like the air defense ground radars, our own fighter jets that are there in the sky, and also the data links, and then the cyber, this thing, electronic warfare.
And the space domain as well.
Space domain and electronic warfare aircraft. Now, once Pakistan Air Force plans and trains, we integrate all these things during our training. What appeared was that our this integration of all these things was very successful. Our J-10C and Thunder.
Everything
and
is not at
everything.
our shopping list, but we always prefer to have the integrated machines.
And they were talking to each other. I mean, our Mirages, all the aircraft were fully gelled and integrated into the systems that we just talked about.
Yes, yes.
On the other side, the situation was reverse of that.
Entirely at
The-
180 degree.
Yeah,
Yes.
because the Rafale, it seems, they are not integrated with their electronic warfare, cyber, and the radars. Radars are Russian radar. These are the Western fighter aircraft which need to be integrated into them.
Yes.
What it appears was that Rafale were at their own, they had very poor situational awareness where the things were reversed on our side. We were very clear and we therefore engaged them. And whatever happened.
Because
to them was-
integration is not like that you are just adjusting the ejection seat into the
No,
cockpit.
no, sir.
This is not like that, because you have to
has
integrate
be
each and
the
every system.
The whole
Yes.
of the system that
Definitely.
has to, the fighter aircraft have to be integrated electronically and computerized.
That's what we call
into
the
all
spectrum
these.
supremacy,
That-
what
that-
Pakistan is actually doing
that-
right now.
that's right.
So, Admiral retired Ahmed Saeed Saab, Pakistan Navy, because right from this whole episode, a brilliant work done by Pakistan Navy in the surveillance domain was the identification of an Indian P-8I Poseidon, and that was at the midnight of 4th and 5th of May. This was earlier than this whole episode. So how do you see how much significant it is for the country's maritime security and the Navy's extreme vigilance, surveillance and the defense capabilities, that you have identified an aircraft, locked that, but you haven't ultimately pressed the red button?
Thank you very much. I think as we have talked about the modern days warfare, it is more integrated, more challenging in terms of the leadership, its strategy, its execution, and the man behind the gun, its training.
No doubt.
So all
Yes.
together,
Absolutely.
it's like a Formula One race nowadays, that you have months of training and you only have 30 minutes to perform. So here as well, in the naval domain, I would say it is like a chessboard, where the initial moves and how you place your assets actually gives you the advantage. So right from the beginning, the Navy was already into a state of readiness, where only a flip of coin would have gone into hot action.
Yes.
So, but having said that, our placement, our strategy was that, again, like on land, we don't open up our new fronts. As we were not the aggressors, we were abiding by the international rules, regulations, UN clause provisions, in which there are neutrals, those who are applying, there is neutral shipping going on, so it would have been badly hurt. So our three missions were very clear. That means to deter aggression, number one. Number two was to safeguard our maritime sea frontier, its sovereignty and its territorial integrity. And third one was that to keep our seaborne trade unhindered. So alhamdulillah, on all these objectives we were successful. And as you said, the Poseidon was very, I would say, very advanced aircraft.
No doubt, yes.
It was located, its movement was taken care of, but our response option in collaboration with the Air Force, we carry out the LRMP busting missions. So those were ready. So again, had it changed the posture towards some aggressive movement, it would have been taken to task. And I think along with Russia, along with the French, the US would have been embarrassed as well.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. This would be the, I think so, the fourth country going to be embarrassed for that, really. Brigadier Sahib, what role did the Director General Military Operation level communication play in shaping up Pakistan Army's technical posture, basically during the period of standoff, and then controlling the escalation? Because now, when the ceasefire announced, how it helps in keeping the adversary at a certain position and maintain the ceasefire, because the intentions on the other side are not good.
Basically, it is a tactical posture which you adopt, or a strategic posture which you adopt, which talk to DG, well, two DGMOs talk to each other. Because if you see, according to the ceasefire, before I say of the ceasefire, I'll practically tell you one thing: that in the armed forces, in the army, once we are deployed onto the line of control, not on the international border, but I'm talking of the line of control. When we were deployed on the line of control in the past, and I can say of my time also, we never took ceasefire or any ceasefire into account in as far as it was concerned with our operational preparedness. We always thought that there is no ceasefire because of two things. One, neither you can believe Indian Army, local command also, nor you can believe their senior command, nor you can believe their political leadership. So during this ceasefire, we used to have uninterrupted ceasefire violations. And I can tell you on on my words that we never violated the ceasefire. We never were first to fire, but Indians would fire unobjectively. And I don't know why their psyche is in their psyche there is a fear all the time that we would do something. They are psychologically paralyzed. And not of the senior command. I was talking of the local command. If it is deployment of a brigade,
because the Indians, despite of the announcement of the ceasefire, Indians were continued for 6 hours. The ceasefire violation, they continued. They never stopped. So this is the habit of Indian Army and even the Indian leadership, that there is always a doubt remains when there would be any sort of a decision. So Indian Prime Minister, to whom the Indian opposition leader Rahul Gandhi called the Surrender Modi, has openly announced that India will attack Pakistan if there would be any terrorist attack inside India or even in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Means that after every false flag operation, Modi could attack Pakistan, and he is threatening that he threatened that in his address to his nation, and he also called it a new normal. Do you not think that this cow madness disease among the RSS born leaders in India, including Narendra Modi, could end the current fragile ceasefire and engulf whole of the region into a nuclear war? Because this is what the US President Mr. Donald Trump said, that he saved the region from an all-out nuclear war, a disaster. So why India and the RSS is pushing that actually?
As I see the training manual of the training attitude, training style of the RSS pre-checks, they call them pre-checks. There are about 12,500 shakas where the RSS is trained. RSS is totally trained on the lines of the Hitlerism and the Mussolinism. That's why I say that Narendra Modi is worse than the Mussolini or Hitler. He's an insult to Hitler and Mussolini also, the way he talks. So in those shakas, what they teach? They teach terrorism. They teach anti-Pakistan syllabus. They teach anti-Pakistan rhetorics. And when they pass out, they have a stick there in their hand and they salute like Hail Hitler, as the Hitler used to do. Because basically the RSS was created by getting influence for the fascism of Mussolini and Italy. And in the book Bunch of Thoughts, which Walker has written on the preface, what did he write? He wrote that in India only the Hindus will stay. And all the other religions will have either to convert to the Hinduism, or they should leave, or either we kill them or they should leave India. So this is the psyche which is developing in the RSS shakas, and most of the RSS students who go to their shakas, they are orphans, which they call anad. They pick them from the railway station, they pick them from the footpath, because in India there is a trend that people leave their kids either onto the railway station or onto the bus station or onto the footpath or in front of the house. So they lift those people and they bring them bring those people for training. And most of the boys who are being trained there, their backgrounds are not. I carried out a study onto that. And at some point of time, we obtained document from India on training of the RSS individuals, that from where those students come. Most of them are anads, which they call in their own language. So when they grew up in that,
there were lots of articles published in the Indian media, Indian print media, even about their Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that the same what you are talking about, that there is but there is a doubt about his family tree as well. So thank you very much for your presence online, because thank you very much, and very candid views, for your very candid views. Thank you very much for your presence, sir. Thank you so much. Admiral Retired Ahmed Saeed sir, how did Pakistan Navy actually position its assets? Because you know that you better than me, you know that most of the times when such conflicts actually arises, it is the very first time, very first move in any navy that submarines go first into the deep sea, and then the surface ships and all others follow that. So during this standoff, right from April 22nd to 2025, and then the conflict window from 6th to 10th May, and obviously they are still on high alert, and it is going on. But how Navy actually assured, you have talked in detail, but 95% of Pakistan's trade is actually through sea, and always enemy tries to stop, because there is controversy going on, and even India imposed that on Pakistan's shipping line as well, not to be at their ports, and even are stressing on the merchant ships. Different stresses are there upon them. So how do you see that how important and critical at the time of the conflict to have the safer trade routes for Pakistan and for Pakistani trade?
Thank you very much. I think in this entire conflict, the Prime Minister Modi's empire of illusions, along with its media, it was exposed. And similarly, the Napoleon says that if your enemy is making mistake, so let him do that. Don't interrupt. So at sea, we were looking forward to that they make a mistake. But like the Indus Water Treaty, they also went into this disruption of trade at sea. Now this is clear violation of UN clause, because the war has not been declared.
You're talking about law of seas.
Yes, that the neutrals have not been taken away, and that you cannot interrupt the trade. And within that, it said the Pakistani shipping and the ships which are carrying Pakistani cargo will not be allowed to touch the Indian ports. Now actually behind this, their aim was to disrupt Pakistan's trade. But fortunately for Pakistan and Pakistan's credibility, none of the big companies, which is CMAs, Costco, Lloyd's, name it, other companies, they all did not pay heed to it. Rather, they went for reorientation of their cargo. That means they started using the feeder services of the sister ports, neutral ports. So it actually did not affect Pakistan.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And plus our shipping agents, our shipping companies, those who are actually dealing with it, they acted wisely, and they also started routing their cargo accordingly.
So your point well taken.
And the one more thing was that which they were looking forward to, that is that the war risk charge is to be, if that gets employed on Pakistan, that would have raised the doing sea trade business with Pakistan. But Alhamdulillah, I think in this we give credit to the government of Pakistan. They gave assurance to the neutrals that they will be given protection by the Navy. And that's where I'm saying that the third tier, that we ensured that the neutral, the trade to our ports, it remains unhindered. It was around, we expect 90 to 100 ships per month.
That's good. That's
so
good.
that was coming along, and there was no interruption.
That's good. That's good. Your point well taken. Dr. Ghulam Mujaddid, how do you see first the addition of the J-10C into Pakistan's air fleet, and then when we are talking about even JF-17 Thunder Block 3, and then the avionics, different armaments, arsenals, including the PL-15, beyond visual range, air-to-air missiles, and these inductions first, and then the use, the first time ever, the use of these technologies into the active hot war. And already we have the statistics that the Chengdu Aircraft Corporation, CSC, got at least 66.7% of
raise in
the shares,
stocks, yeah.
and Rafale dropped 10%.
10%.
So, sorry. So, Dr. Saab, how do you see this whole gambit of the latest Pakistan Air Force weaponry? Use them effectively with overall integration and all that. So, how much it is a huge success for Pakistan Air Force?
Let's pay some kind of acknowledgement to the leadership of Pakistan Air Force. You know what happens, Faisal, that once a system is inducted, it is studied a long time back for its suitability for an air force. So the J-10C, they were inducted in 2022.
Yes.
And it is the ingenuity and the intelligence of Air Chief that we inducted such a system along with the electronic suites and BVRs and everything else. And you saw the benefit of that decision, that now once the time came, it was the J-10C and its BVR air-to-air missiles, the radar that it carries, and the integration that it has with other things. This is the first time that the Chinese system has proven itself to at the edge of the technology, because it has performed so against the top Western aircraft. As they say, that Rafale is not just the French aircraft, Rafale is the NATO's mainstay also.
Yes, it is.
And also this is the first time that Rafale has met defeat in any combat.
So a question arises here, and many people ask this question, that JF-17 Block 2 and 3, both were used along with the Mirages, the bombers, and all dropped this CM-400 AKG at the different targets, and very successfully they returned to their bases unharmed, and there were about 26 targets. Along with that obviously our ground Fateh 1, Fateh 2 also took part in that, but this was a very successful operation, the retaliation from Pakistan side. So how do you see that the contribution of JF-17, even but those were also tested first time in a war scenario?
Yeah, I think the contribution of JF-17 and also J-10C, because once you send your strikes, you also escort them with the aircraft
Obviously,
like this, so that the
obviously,
enemy
yes.
is. No,
Very right.
this is very interesting and very intriguing. Once our boys went into for strike, they never saw anybody stopping them.
Yes.
They did not
Yes.
get airborne.
I'm studying this each and every aspect, and I'm really amazed.
This is
that,
surprising.
It's really surprising.
And look at they are being awestruck
Yes,
by us.
yes.
They were unable to, in their own country, make their aircraft fly and try to,
Actually,
intercept or something
we
like
have
that.
made them not to fly, but the number two is that most of the Rafales already grounded, and they don't know where we have to land, and even the latest technologies never ever be taken at the forward basis, but those were there.
And not integrated.
Not integrated,
Their
yes.
ground radars are potent as 400. Two of them were destroyed, but then two of them still remained. They are very potent.
I love to have lots of discussion on these because these are the favorite subjects of mine.
Yeah.
But Admiral Saab, what was the reality behind INS Vikrant? Getting into the deep sea, then going back to the Karwar naval base in Karnataka, then again further retreated to the Cochin, including the INS Vikramaditya, which never gone away and anchored, but there were lots of hue and cry at the Indian media along with the social media that these aircraft carriers are going into Karachi, and Karachi already destroyed, and lots of other. This is all fake news what's going on, but we have seen in 1965, even in 71 even, that when the older INS Vikrant never came out, that was in Vishakhapatnam, that was not facing Ghazi actually. So what about that? It was just looking like, and even once we were talking that it was like a white elephant or a sitting duck when it is not fully screened or not fully categorized as a carrier battle group or a carrier strike group, because it lacks even the aircrafts, it lacks even older MiG-29 might be having. So even the protection is not there. So what would be ultimately the hue and cry, and what was the conversation going on at the TVs?
I think as you said that aircraft carrier is basically an airstrip
Yes, it is.
at sea on a ship to extend your aircraft reach where your normal aircraft cannot go, even with the refuelers. So in an event of a country which is contiguous to you, the role of this very huge body, I don't think there was a role at all. If there was a role, it had the single role that it was a big target.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
But why it was being rolled up and down in the papers or in the media, for the very reasons that in the previous all conflicts, always there had been a strategy. Whenever there is a high tension conflict, it would run away towards the Andaman Island.
Yes.
So there was a big debate going on into their own circles, especially the defense circles, that why do we have this? If there's about 10 to 12 billion of normally it is used in this, so why do we have this? So now they wanted to bring in a point that it is there and it is projecting a threat to the to Pakistan. So actually it was shifted in August last year, where it had a fire on board and it was to be repaired. So it came to Karwar, and after doing those repairs, it was carrying out drills and rehearsals so that it shows that it is okay. But it never came towards the Pakistani waters. Those pictures which were shown was totally false.
So patient recovered, but still in hospital there in harbour.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so we can say that INS Vikrant has a bad health till now. But one liner, because we have run short of time. So, any sort of a submarine signature we got during this whole standoff, or during the hot war going on, whether we got any sort of a signature, because we have seen on 4th of March in 2019 when Pakistan Navy detected a nuclear capable submarine in Pakistani, away from the Pakistani water, but it was there for ISR mission, intelligence, reconnaissance and surveillance.
I think this time they stayed away like their all other forces for the reasons of, as you have enumerated in 2019. So the situation has not changed as far as their Scorpion class is concerned. That means their AIP has not been integrated as yet. So the vulnerability to their platform was still there. So this time I think sense prevailed and they kept it away.
So it is better to you have to be at the bay, because ultimately you would be a sweet target for Pakistan.
But
no
at the
doubt
same
about that,
time,
really.
as from the Air Force side, it is the total spectrum above air was controlled. At sea, it was underwater, on surface, and in the air. On all three domains, we were controlling
Yes.
this, and that's the reason we were knowing exactly where.
We know that the J-10C for the maritime role anxiously waiting for a kill at the sea, but India deprived us from that, really. Dr. Ghulam Mujaddid, one last question, and that is related to the cyber and the space warfare. You were rightly talking about the electronic warfare, the electromagnetic operations and spectrum, satellite jamming, downlink and the SATCOM denial to the Indian Air Force and rest of the military, and that attained the total control of the Indian command and control, and then destruction of the Indian critical data server, websites, Indian state institutions, government, even Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh offices, military, complete shutdown of the power, gas and railway, airports and all that. Because I have a long list of that. So how do you see, they have never been able, even still till they are not able to restore even the electricity in India, 70% of the area, 60%, 66% is still deprived. So how do you see this brilliant cyber and the space operation done by the PF Cyberspace Force?
Yeah. You see, I'm sure it is well known that PF has a very potent cyber command. And also we have the space.
Very quickly, because we have run short of time. So.
And I think these are the first indications, proper bona fide indications of how modern warfare is taking place.
Definitely.
Okay, so that's, and therefore in the modern warfare, in integration and getting these things and integrating them with our
Unfortunately,
strike
I
force.
want to prevail this
But
discussion.
this
Very interesting, but thank you very much for
this
that.
is what it is.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ghulam Mujaddid, for being with us
one
here.
single word.
So we have run short of time because
Not
we have
only that we outgunned, we have out-networked them.
Network.
no doubt about that. Thank you very much, Vice Admiral retired Ahmed Saeed sahab, for your presence here. Viewers, this is all from our panelists. You have just listened because this retaliation, this response from Pakistan's tri-services, armed forces, even from the whole of the Pakistani nation, the government of Pakistan, whole of the state, this was the whole of the nation approach, whole of the nation response to India, and this response what Pakistan has given, this will be remembered by the generations to come in India. And if Modi wants that there must have to be a peace or tranquility, there must have to be prosperity in the region, Modi must have to think about it before taking any sort of a belligerent action against Pakistan, because Pakistani nation is united and we will respond even more heavily towards India. So we must have to give the peace a chance. Pakistan, Hamesha Zindabad. This is all from today's Foresight. It's time to sign off. Allah Hafiz.